Barcelona have defeated Real Oviedo by 3-0, but this win was far more interesting than the scoreline suggests, because after a disappointing first half performance, it took 3 spectacular finishes to break down Oviedo and send Barcelona to the top of the table. Now, with the crucial Champions League clash against Copenhagen just around the corner, it is important to draw attention to some tactical revelations from this game and how these could shape Barcelona's season going forward. So to start things off, why don't we talk about tactics? Now, both teams started in the usual 4-2-3-1 with slightly different approaches in attack and defense. Oviedo adopted a man-to-man high-pressing system in attack to prevent Barcelona from building out the back. And this was actually working, as Barcelona struggled to play out the back and were forced to go long, turning over possession on a number of occasions. But why was this so effective against Barca? Well, a few reasons. Number one, guys, one of the key pieces in Hansi Flick's system is the ability to transition quickly from defense to attack. To do this, you need either one of your pivots or your attacking midfielder to be able to receive the ball and turn defense into attack. I mean, guys, how many times do we see Fermin or Pedri receive the ball in the midfield and just drive forward to take the ball to the attacking third?
It is Fermin, and he's found Olmo.
Now, with Pedri and Fermin both absent, Dani Olmo and Casado didn't have the pace or the physicality required to execute this. This meant that all that responsibility fell solely on Frankie de Jong, who Oviedo were doing a great job keeping quiet for most of the first half. Safe to say that Barcelona's transitions crumbled entirely and we struggled to stamp our authority on the game. Now, unlike the brilliant work Oviedo were doing to keep us quiet, Barcelona weren't able to do the same at the other end, which brings me to my second reason. Guys, I've made a recent observation. I think that if you look at the games that we've played this season, it seems to me that there is a right combination of players that allow us to maintain the type of intensity needed to execute Hansi Flick's aggressive system in attack. You get this combination right, these players give you 100%, and then in a different game you try a different combination and they look like a completely different team. I think that this was one of those games, at least in the first half, where Hansi Flick got his combination wrong. Now, to be fair to him, it's sometimes down to injuries and possibly on this occasion, the Champions League game we've got coming up in midweek. We had a few positions on the pitch where we lacked a bit of intensity and it affected the overall effectiveness of our press and our ability to transition quickly in attack. Now, it is important to note that this is not about one player, but rather a combination of players in any given game. For example, on the left, Joao Cancelo looked at least 2 paces off. He couldn't bring the ball forward as well as Balde usually does. He didn't combine well with Rafinha, who looked like he was still nursing his muscle injury. Gerard Martin wasn't having the best game either, so our left side was severely weakened. We already addressed our lack of intensity in the midfield, so most of the attacking threat had to come from the right, where Lamine Yamal was outnumbered most of the time. All of this led to an overall drop in intensity, and so it became clear and obvious that Hansi Flick needed to make a few changes, and just like we've seen him do in the past, he did so at halftime. Now, remember we spoke about Oviedo's game plan in the first half: put Barcelona under pressure high up the pitch and make it difficult for them to play out the back. Well, the problem with this tactic is you run the risk of losing intensity as the game wears on. Your players start to run out of gas and you start seeing a few mistakes popping up all around the pitch. That's exactly what happened, and to demonstrate this, let's look at the first goal. Now, it comes off a goal kick which the goalkeeper chooses to go short to Xavi Lopez at left back. Now, look at the press from Barcelona on this occasion. There is an overload on the right side of attack. Now, the obvious choice would be for the defender to switch the play to the left flank like we saw Eric Garcia do on this occasion. But he sort of takes too much time on the ball, allowing Lamine Yamal to close down and intercept the switch. The ball goes up in the air, Rafinha brings it down with this header. Now, as the defense is scrambling to get the ball out, it falls kindly to Dani Olmo. And guys, we already know what's coming next. If you let Dani Olmo tee up a shot anywhere in or around your box, you will get punished. He lets this one off, bottom left corner, Barcelona go 1-0 up. But again, it was down to the urgency and the press in attack this time that pays off and puts Barcelona in the driving seat. And for a team who'd only scored 11 goals this season, an equaliser looked far more unlikely than a second goal. And the stats were right because it didn't stop there. Barcelona continued to press high up the pitch, and in another 5 minutes, Oviedo conceded again. Again, it begins with Barcelona starting the press from the front. This was very different from the Dani Olmo we saw in the first half. I wonder what Flick said to him, because he not only closed down the first pass, when the defender tried to go back to the left, he reads his body shape and tried to close down that pass as well. Now, this forces the defender to change his mind, and that is the key word here, forces. Because unbeknownst to him, he's now dancing to Dani Olmo's tune. He's playing into his hands. He's forced to come back inside where the play is crowded, which means the DM has to go back towards his own goal. Soon as he makes that pass, Rafinha intensifies the press. Now, David Costas, who to be honest had a great game up until this point, yielded to Rafinha's press. He tries to go back to his own goalkeeper, but his legs betrayed him. All that pressing from the first half was starting to take a toll. This is where the elite players earn their money. Rafinha latches onto this gift of a pass, but when he gets in front of the goalkeeper, how about this for a dink? I mean, this was supreme skill and confidence at work. My mind immediately went to this goal by Lionel Messi in Guardiola's first Clásico back in 2009. Guys, please do not try this at home. It's not for everyone, trust me. The goalkeeper is stunned. I'm stunned as well. Barcelona go 2-0 up. Now, with a 2-goal advantage, Hansi Flick decided to make a few changes that revealed yet another interesting truth. Look what happens after Casado intercepts this long ball from a goal kick. He plays in Dani Olmo, who manages to find Lamine Yamal with this ball over the top. But this is by no means a great pass. It was actually behind Lamine. But this is my point about this guy. He just loves the spotlight, and you could see it from his celebration after the goal. He realizes the pass is slightly behind him. He doesn't try to trap or dribble. It's the improvisation to readjust his body and hit the scissors kick on the volley. And then the quality to get on target. The goalkeeper is taken completely unawares. Ball goes straight into the back of the net. My word, this boy is simply world class. When you've got this type of quality on the pitch, just keep the player on, because they've always got some sort of magic in them that could pop out at any moment.
Teeing it up. Oh, how about that?
Now, guys, as we head into the game against Copenhagen on Wednesday, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about this performance, and what are your thoughts on whether we will be making the top 8 in the Champions League going into the next round? Remember to hit that subscribe button, as you are helping the channel grow. We will be back here for more tactical breakdowns from the Champions League.
Dani Olmo with the shots and the breakthrough. A horrible error, and Rafinha is the beneficiary. Dani Olmo teeing it up. Oh, how about that?
Until then, guys, see you soon, and Visca El Barça.